Hello friends, in this video we are going to see a very important and always difficult for the student. The topic is call by value and call by reference. So let's start with the call by value and call by reference. There are two ways through which we can pass the argument to the function, such as by calling the value or by calling the reference. Call by value means in the call by value, the copy of the actual argument is passed to the formal argument and the operations is done on the formal argument. When the function is called by call by value method, it does not affect the content of the actual argument. Changes made to the formal argument are local to block of code function. So when the control back to the calling function, the changes made is vanish. So now we'll see the example. In this example, we have created we have using main function. In the main function, we have declared two variables, that is of type x and y, which is of type integer. Then we are declaring the function with the two arguments, that is integer and integer, and no return type, that means it is not returning anything. Then I'm saying printf enter two values and we are storing that values in x and y. After that, we are sending the values of x and y to the method change. When the function get called, the function control goes from here to the function declaration, right? Then whatever the values of x and y, that will perform the swapping of the two numbers, right? After performing the swapping of the two numbers, when the control goes from here to here, that is the next statement, printf the value of x is something and value of y is something. So now what happens? Consider the value of x is 12 and the value of y is 23. Okay, initially. After going back to the control and after performing the swapping of the value, when we come back and we are printing the value of x and y, the values are not officially swapped, right? Can you see in the code? The values are not swapped because when we are sending the values of x and y, we are sending that value in the a and b, right? So this is a local variable for the main function, but a and b are the local variable for this block of code, right? So the values which you are sending, that is 12 and 23, will get swapped for the a and b, right? And we are not returning that value over here. At least if we return the value, then at least it can swap, right? But it is not sending any value. So that's why the copy of this will get created, fine, and the values are not sending back to the main function. That's why the values cannot get swapped using call by value. So call by value is nothing but creating the copy for the calling function. Fine, it's very easy. Next, call by reference. Instead of passing the value of a variable, address or the reference is passed, and the value function operate on the address of the value rather than the variable. Better it as operate on the variable than the value. Are you getting it? In the value, what we are doing, we are passing that value and we are operating in the value. But in the address reference, what we are saying, work on the address or work on the memory location. Don't see what type of value you have. Next, here the formal argument is altered to the actual argument, and it means the formal arguments calls the actual arguments. See the example. In the example, what they are doing, we are creating the variable a and b. Then I'm declaring the function change with the int star and int star. So star is a pointer reference of the another variable. Don't worry about it. We are going to study it in the next videos. So it is a pointer reference for the variable. Then we are storing the values of a and b, fine. And while sending the value to the declared function, what we are doing, ampersand of a and ampersand of b. That means we are not storing a and b, we are not sending a and b, we are sending the address. This sign means address. So the address of a and address of b, we are not sending the value. After changing two values of a and b, the printf statement is given. So when this function get called, what happens? The value which come back to the statement, that calling function, the address of a and address of b will come back here, right? So it will perform the swapping using the addresses. And after performing the swapping using addresses, it will display like values in this function is this. Okay, star star means pointer address and pointer address of b. So here, instead of passing the value of a variable, directly passing the address to the variable. So the formal arguments directly access the value, and swapping is possible even after the calling function. Are you getting the thing? So you don't need to worry that what value you are providing. We just have to think the address about the variables. So the value of the address will not get swapped. Actually, the address location of the variable gets swapped. On the basis of that, the value will get swapped for the A and B. So see here, the output is enter two values. So initially we are saying the 12 and 32. So value in this function is, sorry, it is 12 and 32. After changing two values, you get 32 and 12 because the address reference gets changed. So in this video, we have already covered the very important topic, that is call by value and call by reference, which is very important, as you should know while calling the any of the function, you should pass the value or you should pass the reference. I hope you understand this concept. Thank you.